Absolutely.
In my opinion, I think we're doing a huge disservice to people by just telling them what the end result looks like. And that's what I think, a big problem from social media now is people tend to see the final result.
Oh
The
yeah.
person with $1 million, the guy with the six-pack ripped abs, and hence depression coming in such prevalent age for kids nowadays, but then also just in general across everybody's age groups.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? Because you told me your son's at 7-11, you said?
Yep.
Have you noticed social media doing more damage than positivity in that age group, or what? How have you seen that?
The funny thing. So, for both of them are not on social media, thank God. I've been able to keep that away, and they don't have phones and things like that. But they watch YouTube videos. There's YouTubers out there that they follow, which is fine. I think the thing that I've had to explain to them is, YouTube to them is the same way TV was for me growing up, right? You put a
Right.
channel on, you watch it or whatever. I think the hard part is when you're watching people real people, air quotes, like do what they appear to be real things, you somehow like connect the dots that these are like, this is how people are. And I'm like, and so having to explain to them that like, why are they doing these things? What is the intent? I'm all for like entertainment. I'm cool with that, but also going, the reason people are prevalent to like, to propaganda in any form, marketing, advertising, whatever, is because they're just like they're not being mindful of the reasons why someone is trying to tell them something, or somebody's trying to be sold on something or whatever. So I'm like, hey, just FYI, these guys are putting on an act. These guys might be real actors, but you have to connect the dots. Just because you see this person doesn't mean that they're actually this person that they're portraying. Like, so you have to disconnect those two worlds. And I said, as long as you understand that, that's fine. But the moment, and that's the hard part, right? It's a little bit easier for my 11-year-old, my 7-year-old. It's like, we are very cautious about what he's exposed to. But to your point, like I also volunteer a lot with high school kids and things like that. And 100%, as they get age, teenagers, as they get older, I mean, the influence that happens on their life through social media, the bombardment they get, the inability to turn it off, or if they're not part of it, they're, part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Like it's hard. It's really hard. And I can't say that I have a good answer. I'm not participative in it. Like I shut down Facebook during like the pandemic. I was like, I'm done. Like this was not doing anybody any good whatsoever. And everybody's got an opinion, and I like, I'm good, man. I'm going to go over here. I'm not very much with drama in the first place. Like I don't deal with workplace drama or people's drama. And I'd always use this example. Like, I mean, like, look, if I lived in the middle of the woods in Montana with no internet, would any of this matter? Kind of. That's always like my gauge. And I'm like, well, yes, cool. Then I should really be thinking about it. No, like if it's just like, I'm reading an article about someone else's life, I'm like, cool. That's cool. But like, I don't have to take that on myself. And I think that's the hardest thing, is compartmentalizing how they interact with other people through things like social media. To your point, it's always the best shot. Like I've never had a 6-pack of abs in my entire life. Does that mean I'm not fit? No. But by all means, the entire fitness industry is depicted as, unless you have a 6-pack, therefore you're not successful. I'm like, okay, let's go run an obstacle course race. See how you do. That's how I look at it. But that doesn't mean like I'm right and they're wrong. It's just like I'm being sold on this glamour thing, and I don't. And it's hard to get over. But yeah, to your point, like the pillars of fitness, I honestly think are, I think just challenging yourself. Like I think, like I said, people are convinced that things are so hard, and I'm like, man, your mental capacity is so much further than your physical capacity. Like, or is like your brain gives up before your body will. Like you got to have that resolve. David Goggins talks about this all the time. I love listening to. If you need a little like inspiration to get out on a run, put a little Goggins in, you'll be like, man, I crushed 15 miles today. But like, yeah, stay hard. But it's. I love people like that. His book, by the way, if anybody's not read Can't Hurt Me or listen to his audible, like it's unbelievable. His like biography. I mean, seriously,
but
unbelievable book. The book is amazing. I've read it twice because it was so ridiculous. And you go, okay, I'm inspired. I've got to go do something crazy. Like it's a perfect book for that. but yeah, I mean, people just, regardless of situation. I mean, I've been on Spartan races. This will give you, like, there's a guy that I've met on course a few times. The guy literally has no legs. He's in a wheelchair. And the first time I came across him, I was racing in Seattle in April of 2019. It was just raining cats and dogs, muddy. We're at this equestrian center on the hills. And here's this guy literally pushing himself with his hands, and he's dragging by a chain his wheelchair up a mountain. And I was like, that is mental resolve. That
Savage.
is, I can, like, just, and it didn't matter that it took him all day to do this race when I have legs and he doesn't. I've seen like vets that have been wounded, that are missing a leg or an arm or whatever, get over these obstacles. They've trekked through the water. Like I've seen people that have had, like, there was one woman who had some like COPD or something like that, and she had a full O2 pack, like with trekking poles, going through one of those courses just to be like, I'm going to do this thing. I set out this goal, to challenge. I'm going to get over it. And like, they make it to the end. They didn't die. They didn't tap. I mean, it might suck, but I mean,
Right.
like, at the end of the day, what do you remember? The victory or the pain? You remember the victory. You don't remember the pain. The pain just fleets. It's there and it's gone the next day or 2 days later, or a week later. It just vanishes. But you remember, man, I came to that finish line. I remember that feeling of success. And that's the thing to me, where when people go, I'm on the couch, I don't know how to get started. I'm like, man, just go out for a walk. The walking sucks. Yeah, walking does suck if you've not walked before. Your body just likes homeostasis. You got to like push it. But eating well, organic foods, if you can afford them, I mean, just real foods, if, just generally speaking, like, if you can name the food, you can eat it. Like clean water, like just basics. Like, our human beings were put on this earth not to eat like Oreo cookies. Like, not that Oreos aren't delicious, but I'm like, that wasn't the point, man. We were hunter gatherers and like, farmers and stuff. I'm like, I feel like we overcomplicate it sometimes, just to be honest with you. I think all of the trends in fitness are like, hey man, like, you got to do these 700 things. I'm like, at the beginning, just walking to the start line and starting across the start line is all you need to do.
But you're right, though. I mean, I hate to keep referencing the last episodes, but with my dad, we had a whole sequence talking about how you have to go through all that clutter to find out that it's a lot simpler than everybody else is telling you that it is.
Yes.
And so you got the 10 days, you got a 6-pack abs. You got in 30 days, lose half your body weight.
Right.
And it's all these marketing jingles, because I'm in marketing. I know what they're doing. Like, it sounds good. 10 pounds in 10 days, all that good stuff. And so I guess in the name of simplifying things, which I'm a big believer in that, in the last 3-4 years, I've made it a purpose to simplify my life and live more of a minimalistic lifestyle. So
that's great.
Just across the board on everything, on what I eat, how many clothes I have available to pick from, how many things I'm purchasing that are small purchases to big purchases.
All right, thanks for watching this clip from Appropriate Culture. If you want to watch the full episode, go ahead and check out us at appropriateculture.com. You can also check us out on the social media platforms at Appropriate Culture. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.